Hello everybody, this is Benjamin Collette with the EVCR Cooperative Extension, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a PVC chicken feed feeder for your chickens. One of these PVC feeders should probably feed about 5 chickens for about a week. So you kind of scale up the number of these feeders you might want. The supplies you're going to need, you're going to need a 4-inch PVC pipe. 4 inches in diameter, and I think they sell them about 8 or 10 feet long. I cut mine in half. You're going to need a Y joiner. You're going to want 3 of these little 4-inch caps. Some scrap pieces. So if you cut it in half, you just have to cut an extra little piece off the top of the remaining pipe there. A fastener or somehow to fasten it to your coop. A power drill or screwdriver. Tape measure. Some PVC cement. Some safety glasses and some gloves. A little tightener here, some flashing 4-inch diameter, a pen to mark the cuts, and this little old rag to kind of clean things off. And then the last thing is a circular saw, and if you don't have that, you can just use a little hand saw. So the first thing you're going to want to do is cut that big pipe in half. I've already did that so I could fit it in my car. But if you didn't, you would just want to cut it in half. And then you also want to cut a little bit extra, some scrap pieces. Doesn't really matter the size, probably about 5 inches a piece. I got random little sizes here. And I'll show you what those are for later. So the first thing you're going to do is, if yours got rained on like mine, you're going to want to dry it off a little bit. Alright, so now that's dry. So it's going to go in just like that, with this part angled up. Alright, but it's still loose and can wiggle around and get moisture in there. So you're going to want to seal that up. So you get that PVC cement. You just run it all the way around in there. Just like that. Get it all up in there. And then go ahead, seal it, kind of give it a little tap. Alright. So that one's going to be good. So this is the bottom. Well, these caps don't fit on there without another of these little pieces going inside. So that's why we got these scrap pieces. So the way you're going to do that is you're going to put that in there, and now it's going to work, but you still got to seal that up. So same thing, make sure you get all dirt or water or whatever off of there. And then put that cement in there. I think this cement's only like $4 or something. And if you don't use it all, which you probably won't, you're you're going to want to store it inside somewhere. I made the mistake storing it in my outdoor shed over winter, and I went to go use it for this, and it was jello, so I had to go get a new one. Anyways, you go to put that piece in there. And then your cap there on the bottom. So now that bottom's just about finished. So the chickens are going to eat out of here, but a lot of times if you just left it like that, chickens are just going to push all that food out all over the place. So what you're going to do, take one of these, cut it right in half, and then it'll fit on the bottom of that. This is already a safety glasses come in hand. Alright. So now you got a little half piece like that. And the way that's going to work, it's going to sit just like that. And they'll just be able to get in there and get the feed without all the feed spilling out kind of over there. So that's a little tricky to put on. What we're going to do, I'm going to lay that out. I'm going to pre-drill a couple little holes, and then we'll put some screws in there to fasten it in there. Try to get small screws. You don't want the screws being really long going inside there and then those chickens are pecking and it's hitting their face. So trying to get some smaller ones. These ones are about 1 inch, and honestly I might go and replace them later. I'll kind of see how the chickens are with it or how far it goes through, but I might replace them to get even smaller ones. We're going to put that drill bit on there. And this doesn't want to fit perfectly, so you kind of got to really push it on there and then hold it. And then you can go ahead and drill that in. Alright, so that one side is drilled. Normally I will just drill both sides and then put the screws in, but since it's really kind of tricky and it wants to pop off on its own, I'm going to go ahead and put that one screw in there so I don't lose my spot. Otherwise I got to line up those two holes, and that can be kind of hard sometimes. Alright, that screws in. So what I meant by it kind of popping out, you'll see it. It's on there flush, and now it pops back off. So you're going to want to hold it in there and then drill that hole. And now it popped off again. So that's why I put that one screw in there on the one side. That way I don't lose where those holes line up. Alright. I'm just going to pre-start this little screw real quick. And now I'm going to go back, line it up, and then put the screw all the way in there. Alright. So that's how it's going to look. It's going to be perfect. The little chickens will just get in there. You kind of see my screws are sticking out just a little bit. So I might go back later and switch them out with some shorter screws so those chickens don't get poked by those screws there. Alright. So it's going to sit like that. Fill your feed in and put a cap on it. Now, if yours is going to be outside where it's going to get rained on all the time, you might want to put the flashing on like I recommended. But if yours is going to be like inside of a coop, you're not really going to need that because the rain's not going to get, it's not going to get rained on inside of a coop. But mine's going to be where it's outside getting rained on. So what I'm going to do with that, slide this all the way down, and this is going to keep the rain off of this area right here where all that food is. If you get the rain going in there, then it's going to get the feed moist or wet, and it's going to start molding and clumping. And the only way to really get that out is to dump out all this feed, which you'll have to replace it, and that's just going to add up costs and aggravation. So, like I said, this was sold for 3-inch, and if you do 4-inch, you cut those out, so then it kind of bends a little better, and you just slide it on. It can be a little tricky. All right. So that's how it's going to look, like that. But if your chickens are like mine, they like to sit on anything and everything. So to keep them from sitting and dragging this thing down even lower, that fastener, you're just going to slip that right on over here. It's going to go over the little remaining parts of the flash in there, and then you're going to tighten that up. Got to put a flathead on for this one. Alright. Make sure it's lined up over all the corners or bits of that. And then the more this thing screws, the tighter it's going to get. So that thing ain't going nowhere. That looks pretty good. Alright. So you can finish it off just like that, put a cap on it, call it a day, or there's some other things you could do to it. So the way mine's set up is mine is on the inside of the coop, but I like to fill it from the outside. That way I don't have to get inside the coop and get all nasty and my shoes dirty. So the way you're going to do that is these 45-degree angles. And you only need these if you want to do it this way, to fill it from the outside instead of going inside the coop. So imagine this is the inside of the coop, this is the outside. You're going to create a little pipe to go from the outside to the inside. So it'll look just like that. So then this will go through your chicken wire or fencing or whatever you have, and then this is where you'll fill it from the outside of the coop, and it flows back inside the coop. And with that, you're going to want to seal it up with that PVC cement just like everything else, because you do not want to get moisture inside those pipes. So go ahead and wipe that down. I'm just going to wipe everything down. You might be watching this and think some of these pieces of pipe are pretty dirty and wonder why I didn't wash it to begin with. The reason is, when you're making these cuts, you're going to get all these little tiny pieces of plastic all over the place. So when you do finish with this, you're going to want to go ahead and wash it all over again and get all that plastic out, because you don't want your chickens eating little bits of plastic. That's not good. Alright. Alright. Just keep on putting the pieces together. And as you notice, I kind of put them together first without putting the cement in there to make sure I got my puzzle pieces right. Because once you put the glue on, the cement on, you're not getting that off. So go ahead and kind of practice it. Make sure it looks right in your eyes before you finish it off with the cement there. Alright. So one thing to note is this piece right here where you put that cap on. You do not want to put cement on this, because this is what you got to take off every time you want to fill it. So don't seal that one up, otherwise you're never going to get it off and won't be able to fill up this feeder. So next thing you're going to do is you're going to go to your coop and you're going to fasten it to your coop, however you're going to set that up. I'm just going to put mine here temporarily just to kind of show you what it's going to be like. So we'll cut off or however you're going to fasten it. Chunk of this. So this just wraps around the pipe, and then you'll line up those little holes just like that, and then you'll screw that in to your post that you're going to have it in there. So this won't go completely flush just because I'm using this post and not a chicken wire fence where it's going to go through. So you'll just kind of have to imagine it a little bit, but pretty much you're just going to set it up like that and then screw it in and secure it to your chicken coop. So you might be looking at that and be like, that's pretty tall. But the reason I got it like that is because the way my coop's at, on the outside of my coop, I'm probably a good foot taller than the inside. So when I put that in my coop, it's going to be sitting down a little lower, and I can refill it from the top without having to get a step ladder. So do keep that in mind. You might want to make this piece of your pipe a foot shorter for you, or however's comfortable for you. But I'm going to have 2 of these in my coop for about 7 chickens, and that'll probably hold about 10 days of feed, probably a little more. Especially if you let them go free range a little bit, then they'll eat less feed. Anyways, that's that. Hope you guys enjoy it, and hope you guys make some chicken feeders. If you got any questions, don't hesitate to call or email or reach out to me. All right, thanks.